Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming and join us for our first special guest earworm of the year. I've been asking this gentleman to come on for a long time. One of the first I asked him, but no, I'm not coming on. But we eventually got him on. So, with further ado, we have Glyn Senior as our special guest earworm. Thank you very much, Glyn, for agreeing to come on eventually.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
He really does exist.
Yes, he does. He's not just a figment of our imagination. And Mark Jumpman, good Woodturner, and Brian from Heart Woodturner. Thank you guys for joining me tonight.
Bye, everyone.
As always, guys.
Good evening, children.
Children, oh wise ones. So as
Everyone's a child to you.
As always, if you've got any questions for Glyn or anybody in the group or anything else, obviously put Q before your question. So if you ask a question, then the guys will pick it up and read it out. Obviously tonight is about Glyn. We want to know how Glyn got started, why he got started, and what was the inspiration behind the grit. That was the reason of getting Glyn on, because everybody, well, a lot of people in the woodworking world obviously use Yorkshire grit, so it's nice to know the background about it. So I will be turning a small piece of wood, just like I say, the night's about Glyn, it's not about me. So the wood is what, Mark?
A dig bow.
A dig bow. There you go. That's what it is, a dig bow. Mark said, so if it's wrong, it's Mark's fault.
Well, I got it off the
It's a dig bow unless anybody out there
knows
knows
different. Yeah, exactly. So with
I'm
that,
fairly certain it's a dig bow.
yeah, it's a piece I was given about a year or so ago, and it was in a board about 2 foot long, but I think it's about 150 mil across, maybe a bit more than that. So I just cut it into some small blanks, and I thought I'd turn one tonight because I thought it was a Ruco, to be honest, or a Roko, whatever you call it. And you can get a nice shine on it. That was the idea of doing it, so we can push on the all Yorkshire grit. Since we've got Glyn in, and so get a nice shine on it. That was the idea of it. But anyway, we'll see what we can do on it. I'll move this camera.
You're going to use it, are you?
Yeah, well, I thought might as well nail the old boys in.
Oh, what?
All right, middle-aged
That was
boys
old
in.
Brian.
Nobody's old.
I'm steady. Why did I get dragged into that?
Because
Somebody said old, Brian.
Oh,
okay.
right, so I will go over and start turning this, and I think Mark's going to read out the chat. So
I've been nominated, yeah.
So Mark's going to read the chat out.
With his fancy new microphone.
Yeah, with a fancy new microphone. The sound is
with his fancy new microphone
now.
Right, so from the participants list, we can do that now, because they can't see us, so we can.
All right.
We can do hand gestures, yeah.
Just be careful, though. Just be careful.
Just keep an eye on the screen so Steve doesn't drop us back in it. Right. Yeah, don't call me Wood Eye. From the participants list, we've got Barry's Wood Creations, Brent Beecroft, some dodgy geezer called Brian, from Heart Woodturning, because there is another Brian called Watkins.
Hi, Brian.
Dave Oatey, DJ Brinkley, Door 60, Gerard the French Turner, Robert Huff from Hodgepodge Woodworks, Jay's Woodturning, Jennifer's Craft and Creations, the ever lovely Joe Senior, the brains behind the operation, that is, John Scarborough, Kitey Shed, Lawrence Begager,
Dad's partner.
Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Breen,
well, it might even be Dad on her tablet.
All right. Martin Askew, Michael McEwen, Michelle Ousby. Gave us a good show today, Michelle. Well done. Mike Hugh from Ilminster, Neil N, Norman Greenwell, Pete from Twisted Trees, our ever lovely host, skkrafts, Roger Mills, TC Woodwork, DJ Turning, Trevor P. Hobby Turner, Wayne the Woodturner, Wivey Woodshed, Wood Wizardry by Colin, Woodturnings by Barry, Norman Greenwell. Somebody else just popped in and I don't see who it was.
Miss T.
Miss T's, TC Woodwork.
Gerard the French. Oh, Gerard is in.
Gerard the French Turner. Going back, and if there's anybody I missed, I do apologise. Blame you too.
DJ Turning.
Yeah, I said him.
Well, there are 56 currently watching, so if we missed your name, just give us a little shout out.
So I fixed.
We will make sure you get a mention.
Oh.
No, Joe, I won't be singing.
It's okay, Joe. Mark's going to be singing. He's got
sound-
a lovely new microphone, makes his voice sound 100%
No, he said it
better.
sounds better.
Do I sound sexy now?
No.
So I've mounted this with a 54mm force in the
That's
bit in the
never
back
gonna
as
happen.
always. So let's get it started. All right, Nick.
Nick Castle's in. Good evening, Nick. I could take the chat and slide it across here and put it over that picture where Steve's turning another bowl, because I'll not need this.
Not another bowl.
Not another bowl.
I turned the bowl today. Surprise and surprise.
I turned
Yeah,
3.
not another one. Blue with gold embellishment wax. Ooh.
Only one bowl. I turned 3.
I turned 2 today.
Wow, I can't believe you're ahead, Brian. What's going on there?
For later. Yeah, just for a change. Yeah. I haven't done the edit yet, so I'm
I
not
can't
ahead.
believe Wayne the Woodturner's saying I
I
never
think he's
sound
right. I think
sexy.
he's spot on.
Phew.
He's absolutely right. He says the microphone's not working much either.
Will somebody nip round to my house and gaffer tape my wife's mouth shut, please?
No, we need to break her fingers, Glenn. She's typing on a keypad.
Right, that'll do.
I couldn't do that, Glenn.
So first question for you there, Glyn. Question from somebody called Joe. She'd like to know, how did it all start, Glyn?
Ah,
I knew I should have disabled the router before I left home.
Yeah,
You
but
should've.
Terry's asked the same question, so you
it's
know.
all right. Terry's asked it. Somebody was going to ask it, so.
Come on.
Right, okay. When I first started wood turning, I bought Joe a lathe to do wood turning.
And
Joe decided
how many years ago was this?
6.5.
Oh, there you go.
Bought Joe a lathe. Decided she couldn't do it, having had the operations that she'd had. So I decided I weren't going to throw the lathe away or lose a load of money on it. So started watching YouTubes like Mike Walton, that American
Jacobson.
guy. What do they call him? Carl
Jacobson.
Jacobson. And ended up doing a lot of sanding, as you do when you first start. Then ended up with a problem with my balance. So went to the hospital. They said I was getting a build-up in my balance tube between my ear and my throat, and it was caused by wood dust. So I had to come up with a way of sanding without creating dust, because I weren't going to give up wood turning. So 12 months of development and trying every formulation known to man and some that weren't. I eventually come up with Yorkshire Grit. Never designed as a product to sell. It was only ever designed to use in my workshop. For a few of the wood turners I'd come friends with on YouTube all said, you've got to market it. You must market it, because they'd had someone tried it and said it was brilliant. So that's pretty much how it all kicked off.
Excellent. That's an excellent story.
It's a true
So
story as well.
Yeah, I know it's a true story. I understand it's a true story. So basically, it's designed to keep you healthy or help keep you healthier.
It's to stop you creating the dust. So yeah,
Yep.
In effect.
So if we're sanding with Yorkshire Grit up to sort of 240, which in actual fact is quite big grains of dust.
Yeah, from all
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, from all the research and learning I've tried to do about it, your body can pretty much eject the particles around that, or the wood particles that that level of sandpaper create. Beyond that, you get a cumulative build-up in your lungs. So your 600, 800s, thousands, and micromesh, and the dust created from that, if you don't have proper extraction in your shop, is going to eventually block your lungs up.
You only get one pair of lungs.
You
Oh.
do.
Yeah.
Or
So
most
do
that
you-
could have somebody else's.
So just to clarify that some people have said that Yorkshire grit is a finish. It's Glyn can confirm now that it's actually not a finish. It's a
No.
sanding paste.
It's an
Yeah,
abrasive paste.
it's, if you think of it as liquid sandpaper,
Yep.
That's essentially what it is.
And it's good.
Excellent.
Hi, Rob.
Rob from Woodturning is in.
Andy from Woodwork Learners in.
And there's a question there which I've highlighted. I'm taking a note of for you, Glyn. It was from Paul Lockwood. He's saying that I'm making a note of this for you, Glyn. You don't already write it down.
Right.
Did you get my message from a local supplier who wants to stock Yorkshire grit? So I've taken a note of that, and I'll pass it on to you,
Thank you.
and you can sort that out yourself. It's not kind of discussion
Thanks,
over a
Paul.
public network.
All right. Whatever it is, it sounds nice. Sorry, Mike,
Is it
what you
as
saying?
dusty as
A
you thought
digbo,
it would be?
it's called. A digbo.
Yeah, very much so.
Is it as dusty as you thought it would be? Yeah.
Wood Wizardry by Colin. It's also great for wet sanding too.
Hmm.
Does that mean you're using Yorkshire grit on sandpaper, Colin?
There's another
Right.
question from somebody called Joe.
He wouldn't know, would he?
What does it feel like to have such a supportive wife?
How
When
would
he
he know,
marries
Joe?
one, he'll tell you.
I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm just going to gaffer tape my wife's hands together.
There's a question from John Scarborough, Glyn. Do you still make it yourself, or is it outsourced?
No, I mix and pour every single tin that goes out the door. And there's several hundred a week goes out the door. I'm a busy lad.
Sorry, I was choking there. All right. I must take a swig.
Oh, you're on the soft drinks tonight, Brian.
That's cured it. That's cured it.
Peter Corcoran says, Glyn, thank you very much. His prize arrived on Tuesday.
Brilliant. I do apologise for the delay with that. But it got there.
Oh, Lockwood said, yeah, I could do a free refill for my aluminium tin. Did you used to send out in aluminium tins, Glenn?
Yeah, yeah. I think he must have bought it off Arthur Negus.
Well, every black tin comes with a free refill because it's already inside it. So if you buy a black one, that'll fill it, won't it?
It comes full. It's amazing.
Yeah, Glyn's currently running a special offer where you buy one, you get one.
Buy two, get two.
Yeah. If you're feeling really flash, buy three, get three.
This could go on a while.
Yeah, it does.
Wood Wizard by Colin says, yes, I used it when I was sanding a very punky bowl.
Right, okay.
Hi, Barry. How you doing?
Barry Chitty's just joined. Hi, Barry.
I've got to ask what the
Evening, Barry.
benefits would be with sanding it with sandpaper.
It does.
No, that's what I'm struggling.
Personally, I can't think of one. But
Dust reduction.
I only invented it. The amount of people that have come back to me with different ways of using it and different methodologies
Yeah.
and sent me videos of what they've explained. And it's mind blowing because you come up with the idea and you make it, but you've no idea what the end user is going to do with it.
Yeah, what
And-
other people will do it.
Yeah,
But-
and
So that's a bit like Steve cleaning his headlamps with it.
there's a lunatic polishes his Land Rover headlights with the stuff.
Yeah, I know, something. I don't know who that is. Who do we know about Land Rover? I wonder who that could be.
This Joe person is obviously a very keen fan. She's asked another question. How did you come up with the name?
Right. Obviously, I live in Yorkshire.
No.
We were sat watching the TV one night, and it was at the time I'd got the formula how I wanted it. It was ready for release. Thinking of a name of a period of a few weeks, and Joe and I were sat watching Calendar News, which is a local news program in Yorkshire, and the education. Well, some member of the government that was to do with education was on TV stating that she was going to instill Yorkshire grit into kids in school by teaching them the stoicism. And as soon as she said Yorkshire grit, I got the eureka moment. Yeah.
The big flashing light bulb.
Yeah, it became the name.
Excellent. It's a great name for it, I have to say.
All right, Paul.
Woodworm Paul has joined us.
There's a question there from TJ Turning. Do you or would you sell grit in larger amounts, i.e. 1 kilo tins, for trade use?
If there was a market for it, I probably would. But you tend to find production turners don't use it unless they're doing a particular piece that they want to be ultra shiny or finished. Production turners tend to rattle the pieces off quicksand to an accepted finish that the customer wants and out the door. So
they tend to only stand up to 180, don't they?
Yeah, I was going to say normally 180, 240 maximum for like spindle work and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
and
if you take much more than that,
is painted.
yeah, paint doesn't go
Hi,
on.
Katie. How you doing?
Yeah.
Cornish Mate's in. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
There was another question there from Jennifer's Craft and Creations. Glyn, did you have to test different ingredients to get Yorkshire grit how you wanted it?
Oh my word, yes, for a long period of time, almost a year. I tried every grinding medium I could find and source. Tried just about every way of suspending it in solution, in a paste, in a liquid. Yeah, months and months and months of development. Cost me a fortune.
Lawrence Bujia has a question there for you, Glenn. He says, are you thinking of expanding the company, for example, into finishes and similar related wood turning products?
The simple answer to that is no. Me and a gentleman called Martin Saban Smith, who you might know.
Yeah, I think we do.
Both started our companies within a few months of each other and made a gentleman's agreement that he would never encroach on abrasives and I would never encroach on finishes.
There you go.
And I will always stand by that.
And I think that's
I agree.
He's a man of his
Definitely.
word.
a
Glenn.
fair point, and it should be applauded.
Pete from Twisted Tree says,
I wasn't even going to read that out.
I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because I knew you wouldn't read it. When is the sound chip being put into the tin? So when it's opened, we hear Joe's dulcet tones singing the grit song. Like them
That-
greeting cards you
That'll
get
be
out
the
when you
day
open
that I actually want to send the company bankrupt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's how you're looking for a way out, Glenn, is it?
You want the company to grow.
That's my exit strategy.
Now I can see why you wanted to be at the unit and do this and not at home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Woodwork Lerner says he's got one complaint about Yorkshire grit. It doesn't taste that nice on chips.
you're not eating it quick enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Brent is asking, Glyn, can you use an oil successfully over Yorkshire grit?
Yes.
Danish, lemon.
You can use any polymerizing oil because the mineral oil, it's a trace of mineral oil left on the wood. And any polymerizing oil like tung oil, Danish, will always shell over the top of that. So no problem at all.
All right, bit of sand and sealer. Sand up to 240 grit.
Oh,
Terry
apparently you've risen
Bartlett
up the
just
list,
joined
right?
us. Good afternoon, Terry.
Evening, Terry.
Good evening,
or
Terry.
afternoon, Terry.
Terry B.
Hi.
What
Midnight
made
Scrollers
me
joined. Hi, Midnight.
come up with microfine? Oh, that's an easy one to answer. A lot of the pen turners were using microfine, but using Yorkshire grit, but it was still leaving a semi-cloudy finish on the plastics and resins.
Oh yeah.
And quite a few of the hybrid turners were asking as well if I could do something finer that would take the clouding off. So a further 3 months of development and trying, but thankfully I'd already tried most of the grinding mediums when I was making the original Yorkshire grit formula. So I had an inkling where to go with that. So came up with another non-solvent based sanding paste and predominantly for resins and plastic. As Mark and Brian both get stuck into the soft drinks.
And Glenn has to drive home from the unit. How big a mistake was that now?
Andy H returning, and
Hi, guys. Evening.
saw somebody else's name. David Vaughan has just joined.
Good evening, Andy. David.
Andy's probably been here for a while, but I missed him. Sorry, Andy.
We have 75 watching. Steve, make a
I'm
bowl.
just in the background here, just
Wait, are you
playing.
making something, Steve? Oh,
Not
sorry.
another bowl.
sand and seals. What, the end?
Tell us when you get to the important bit.
Dave
Yeah.
Oatley. Dave Oatley, question. Can you use Yorkshire grit
Yes.
on top of, say, lacquer to get a nice smooth finish?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Depending how smooth you've got your lacquer when you've finished spraying, presuming you're spraying it, of course. If you've got any sort of orange peel effect on it, yeah, Mark's holding up a piece he's done with it. Any sort of orange peel, then you can use the original first and then microfine. Or if you've got a fairly smooth finish from your lacquer,
It does.
the microfine will just polish it up to glass.
It works an absolute treat.
Steve, can you just bring
Mark can show you this piece that he did.
This was 12 coats of lacquer, and after every 3 coats, I microfined it on Glyn's advice. And I think Glyn watched me make it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after every 3 coats, microfined, let it cure for 5 days, then I microfined it again at the end, and I mean, it's like glass. There isn't a scratch on it. And that's because
Steve?
of microfine.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read Jennifer's comment there? Glyn's sound is quiet and Steve's sound is loud.
Well, everybody sounds up. Everybody's, all you guys are all up full. What's
Yeah,
his?
it all sounds,
Okay.
sounds
Right,
fine
okay.
here.
Yeah, it all sounds good.
It
Yeah.
sounds fine to me too. So,
Take us off screen then.
and Katie the Cornish maid is suggesting that is Glyn going to sing for us tonight?
No, Mark's a designated vocalist
Singer.
tonight.
Yep, he is indeed.
Take us off screen.
You have to
Designated
test out his
vocalist tonight.
Yep, he is indeed.
Take us off
You have to
screen.
test out his new microphone.
Press the button
And-
then.
And Glyn's a Yorkshireman,
so
not a
Yorkshire
Welshman.
grip.
He doesn't do singing.
Original.
Joe
Lawrence
Senior
is
said,
I am Joe, just for you.
Steve,
Seemed you asked me to.
are you making a bowl by any chance?
Glyn, Lawrence is asking, did you study chemistry?
No, my background was engineering and computer software development and a bit of truck driving.
And anything else you could make a pound at. Don't forget, he's a Yorkshireman.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of worried sheep from where I
Careful.
used to live.
Do you live somewhere near Mike Walt?
Yeah.
Right.
Paul Lockwood said it's advisable to use Yorkshire grit or similar over the top of melamine to buff it up.
They always sound like that, Robert.
Melamine, that's a lacquer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It will work, yeah.
yeah.
It also
Any
works
For
on-
mica.
what's that hard stuff they use for kitchen tops nowadays? What do you call that? No,
Corian.
Corian. It
Works
can remove
brilliantly on
marks from
Corian.
Corian as well. If you've got a Corian worktop and you put a little scuff in it, you can use Yorkshire grit and microfine to bring it back.
Mark, you should be singing.
For hands
God.
that feel pity can be soft as your face.
God help
He's
us.
trying to do a
Like
real sexy
that.
now, look.
Yorkshire gritty.
All is forgiven.
Welcome back, Joe. Welcome back, Joe.
Hodgepodge is asking, how did you get such a catch like Joe?
A long fishing expedition.
Oh,
Some spectacular bait.
Oh, listen to that.
I thought all fish went for
Glenn
maggots.
blowing his own trumpet.
Long worms, Steve. Long worms.
Maggot and worms. Maggot and worms.
Steady now.
Joe says slip my wrists.
Gerard's going, what's with all the thumbs down, Gerard? What? Really?
Jared, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. What's wrong with Jared now?
See,
Have we upset the Frenchman again?
everyone's a critic.
Oh, that's Mark singing you're referring to, Jared. You're quite right, mate.
Right.
Too much cats.
Oh, Doug. How you doing, mate?
Doug Miller's just joined. Hi, Doug. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Doug.
Doug.
Welcome along, buddy. DJ Turning says it's fantastic to clear dull headlight lenses. It is indeed. Shines them back up nice.
Mark's about to spontaneously combust.
Oh, I'm sure you guys in the chat will remember this, that Mr. Beckett gave me so much abuse over having a heater in my workshop. You know, when I bought the little diesel one that Steve has, Mark has just been complaining in the background here that he's too warm. Because I wonder why that is. He has a heater in his workshop.
I may have a radiator under my bum.
He's sitting on a 3 kilowatt oil-fired, or oil-fired?
Oil-fired.
Oil-filled
I hope it ain't on fire.
radiator.
Right, let's try some microphone.
Oil-filled
on this one.
radiator.
Oh, that's what the glare is.
Somebody
Turn
take
it
his
off.
hat off, he's that warm.
I've had to turn it off.
Right,
He's
Mike.
had to turn it off.
Mike Doyle's just joined.
Ah, good man.
Oh no, Cornish mate
He's
thinks.
received
I'm
his
going to start
t-shirt.
a new hashtag up tomorrow.
Who
I'm going to
has?
take a picture of my Maker's t-shirt and stick it on Facebook with a hashtag. Everybody who's
Here,
got a
Mike.
Maker's t-shirt, I would like them to do the same. Join in and let's spread the word. Have you
Okay.
not ordered it?
I never got my t-shirt.
Oh yeah, of course you do.
Did you buy one?
Oh, do you have to order one?
Yeah, shut
Yeah.
the buy it, Glenn.
Oh,
Don't be sad.
Just because you paid to get your logo on the back doesn't mean you get a free T-shirt.
no, I overpaid to get
Yeah.
my logo.
No. You overpaid because you wanted 3 spaces. Just
Like Terry,
buy your T-shirt, you miserable Yorkshire git.
Terry from TJ Turning's actually got it's quite a good question because everybody always asks the opposite.
This
Is
not
there
like
anything that Yorkshire
Oils.
Grid is not suitable for?
Right, when I first developed the product, I presumed, quite wrongly, that it would be no good for anything other than a wax finish. And in the last 6 years, I have had emails and pictures from customers that have used it under every type of drying oil there is, and even non-drying oils like linseed oil, every type of lacquer, from melamine to Alfred's rattle tin car lacquer. I've not had anybody come back to me and say, I've used this over Yorkshire Grit and it's failed. So, and I'm presuming I would have had something back. So
I think you may have misheard that question, Glenn. I think the question was, is there anything that you cannot use Yorkshire Grit on? Is there anything it would have a bad effect on? I think the same answer really applies. We haven't had any reports of anything. It's designed for use on wood, basically.
The paste is completely inert. There's no solvents in it whatsoever. Even the lemon oil that I use does not have limonene in, which is the natural solvent that occurs in citrus skins. I use a lemon essence that doesn't have limonene in. So neither of the products has any solvent, natural or petrochemical based.
Cool.
So
that doesn't mean you can eat it, guys.
No, please don't.
Richard Phelan's joined us. Good evening, Richard. Question. Will the Yorkshire Grit on the bottom of a bowl reduce the chances of creating a funnel?
Not in Mark's.
That's the woodwork learner again.
Yeah, not in my workshop.
No, it doesn't work in
No.
my workshop either.
I've been supporting Steve Cable
Yeah, but you said to me,
since long before he started making funnels.
you said keep
So
it
it obviously
interesting.
has no
I kept it
beneficial
interesting, all right? No, this is true.
At least you didn't sand through the bottom from the outside.
Well,
You make one mistake.
takes a special kind of idiot to be able to do that.
That's true. So Gerard, the French turner, says, so it's eco-friendly.
Apart from the fact that it's in a plastic tub.
So handfish. Go on, Mike.
But it does have mineral oil in, so that would be classed as harmful to animals and aquatics because it's
marine life.
petrochemical.
Yeah. Marine life.
Yeah.
In particular. Joe Senior just said lovely wood. There's a turning going on here.
Yeah, I think she's replied. She's relating to Steve, what he's doing.
At least I hope it's the wood turning she's talking about.
Yeah.
William? Who's William? William? Have we missed somebody coming in? Who's William?
Oh, William. Sorry about
William
that.
Kenny.
William, if they missed
Good evening, William.
So second coat. You don't need to watch.
I was actually trying to watch some wood turning there just for a second. Like,
You need a lot more speed.
Why is
I
that?
could
This is
get
the Hampshire
a
Sheen.
lot
I've already
more
done the
revs if
gritting.
I were you, Steve. Oh, right.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
question,
so you're taking the luster off now then?
question, Steve.
This is
from,
the Hampshire
Susie, the
Sheen
Swiss
high
wood turner.
gloss
What was that you
Krafts.
just put on? There we go.
We think.
And the wood dug is a digbo, because Steve can't say it.
A
That's why
digbo. A
that's
digbo.
why I've answered.
Digbo.
Oh, there he
Digbo.
got it. Yeah, he's getting it. He's getting it. Digbo.
Ah, good one, Jared. I'll use that.
What's Beckett doing?
Yeah, I've got 5 or 6 tins now, just with bits and pieces in them. I don't know. He's rattling around his
I think
workshop.
Gerard's got some of yours, hasn't he?
You be quiet. You be quiet.
Are we still on about that? Are we? Right. So that's the bottom done.
You're absolutely right, Rob. I'm not.
So
turning.
there we go.
I'm still here.
That's
ever turn, really.
finished 240 grit, original
That looks
Yorkshire
nice, Steve.
grit, microfine. Thanks for watching, Glyn. And then 2 coats of Hampshire Sheen high gloss.
Oh dear.
I'm getting it tonight, aren't I?
Yeah, you deserve it.
Oh, thanks.
That's okay. Anything.
Right, so let's turn the middle out. What are you doing, Beckett?
You know what?
Had to move your heater because it was too
Hey,
hot.
sorry, I'd do something. No, I just had a very important message from Kim.
Oh, you have to go over tonight then.
No,
Oh,
her
she
daughter's
might have had
legs
it by the end of the life. We can announce
the
it.
waters are broke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's not the first one, is it?
Kim's going to be a granny
Again.
Right.
She's already a grandmother once.
Reddish walnut.
Hodgepodge thinks that
Mark
looks a
tells
bit
me.
like reddish walnut.
No, it's
Okay.
not mahogany. It's definitely not
From
mahogany.
here, it looks a bit like mahogany.
Mm.
Oh, right.
No, just from that camera angle. It's got that.
Yeah, I think it's the lighting more than anything else because it was definitely more yellow earlier.
Yeah,
That is
absolutely.
actually that
More
camera.
whitey
let's have a look.
yellowish
That camera is actually
from
more
the
of
other
the
angle.
colour than what it is. Then yeah, that is that red.
Was it? Well, that's why I didn't think it was a Roco,
I do.
because Steve thought it was a Roco to begin with.
Don't worry,
Steve
mate.
Fleming
You
has
missed
joined us.
much.
He says he's sorry for being late. Not to worry, Steve. Better late than never, buddy.
So let's go for this.
Jared French Turner has said if you put a screw through the lid onto a shelf and it's just disappeared, get back here. Then you can put stuff in the bottom screws back on.
My granddad used to do that with jam jars.
I do it with peanut butter jars. All the screws are in that.
Screws and nails, yeah.
Yep. Under a little shelf.
Well, I
Perfect, it's a great
suppose
system.
you're of the same
Jesus.
generation as my granddad, aren't you?
Of course I am, yeah. I'll loan you that one, Glyn. That's okay. Just expect a return. It will come back.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Right, what was that question?
What's your question?
How do you find time for wood turning if you make it all yourself, Glyn?
He doesn't.
If I want to do wood turning, I have to give up sleep. I tend to do all my wood turning on one day. I invite a load of friends and supporter turners around, and we hammer through a third of a ton of wood.
Yep.
Katie's got a good question. What's everyone's favourite non-native wood that they could wish that they could get more of?
Olive.
Oh, mine's easy. Olive.
Olive.
Olive
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, I was going to say either olive or
I
bird's
would
eye
love to be
maple.
able to get some more olive.
Bird's eye maple is a good one as well.
Although it does tend to stain your leaf bed if you sit on it too long.
Mike Doyle. Was that from the AAW show, Mike? Or when we were at
Right, Doyle.
Jeff's? That's the most embarrassing thing I've ever had done. I didn't know what to say. I was at the AAW show, and a young lad come up and bought a tin of grit and asked me to sign the label on the grit tin. And of course I did, but I felt completely
Yeah.
knocked off kilter.
Right, Roy.
Kind of out of place, eh? Roy, the boys in. Good evening, Roy. So that was Mike Doyle. Yeah. He got a tin sign when he was back visiting the walnut log. Sits on my prize shelf. There you go. Is it empty now?
Right. Don't use it. You wouldn't have a signed
or
photograph
do you
of
not
Elvis
just not
Presley
use
and hang it on the wall, would you? No.
Yeah.
Got to be in the dark. Keep it safe.
Woodworthy by Colin likes Zebrano and Snakewood. Or Snakewood. Zebrano or Snakewood, is that the same thing? Or is it different?
Does Cornish maid turn, Mark?
Yep.
She does a bit, yeah. She's Chris Sargent's fiance.
Sorry? Chris?
She's Chris SG's fiance.
Right.
So she does a bit of turning, yeah, on my old lathe.
Jared the French
Okay.
turner loves Mopani.
You need
Never
to
heard.
get hold of some olive wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's
Lovely
the
turn.
nicest thing on earth to turn. It's just
Yes.
like butter.
And it makes your workshop smell fantastic.
Yeah, it smells like a pizzeria.
Roy, the boy's late because they had to pick up the mother-in-law from hospital. I hope she's feeling okay, Roy, and there's nothing serious going on there.
Brown.
How's this bowl coming out? You're getting near the funnel stage.
Hey?
You go leave it that thick,
What, mate?
Steve.
Don't know yet. You pull that far ahead, really.
What was
You
it,
go leave
Hodgepodge?
you go
I'll go
leave
back
it
and have
that
a look.
thick. Okay.
Hodgepodge. Can't Joe just do all the mixing and canning while you would turn or sit and relax?
Yeah, not a chance.
Hodgepodge, you wouldn't believe how many times I've tried to make that happen, but she resists fervently.
Right, just clean this rim up.
Susie, the Swiss woodturner, says she can't get Osage orange
Sarge.
and Eastern red
Asagi.
cedar. Osage. Agi. You can't get that in Switzerland, and she would love to try those.
I think there's probably one that we'd all like to turn a bit more of with that red Mali burl.
Yeah.
That stuff's gorgeous.
I've never even seen a piece of it in the flesh as well.
Yeah, Glyn's
Hang on a minute.
Oh, look,
just
he's
gonna
away to
show
find it.
off
He's
now.
like, show off. Rob from Copper Wood says he turned a blank of Babinga.
Yeah,
Oh, look at
actually,
that
you'll
thing.
hate you.
look what I found
hang
on
on, hang
bottom
on.
of that.
Hang
Oh,
on,
it's
hang
got
on.
an skkrafts sticker on it. Steve, put one on the screen quick.
They get everywhere, don't they?
Look at that.
That's been face down on a shelf for months. I've just picked it up and there's a blooming skkrafts sticker on it.
You'll have to send that to him now.
That's
Obviously belongs to
Red Mali, yeah?
You know, the bit you was going to send me, that's why I put a sticker on it.
That's Red Mali, yeah?
Jared the French turner says I got a few South African olive wood and some burr of that kind too from a guy who sells wood and for the fire in the restaurant. jeez.
Brent Beecroft says he'd like to try laburnum.
I have a piece of laburnum.
Poisonous,
It's
isn't it?
nice wood.
Yeah, you want to make sure you wear a
It
mask.
doesn't turn all that easy.
Make sure you wear a mask when you're
Toxic
filming.
as well. Yeah,
That's poisonous, yeah. Yep. And don't chew on the bark. Not good for you. Connie Schmidt said she's turning
really?
Christmas ornaments as well, Glenn.
Ah, Ruby's in.
Oh, hi, Ruby.
Evening, Ruby.
Yeah,
Osage is
the-
disappointing.
yeah. English U does the same thing. For about
It does.
2 years, it looks absolutely fantastic, and then
Oh,
it
does
just goes a dark brown colour.
Does it? Oh.
Yeah.
That's a bit disappointing. Donald is in. Donald B.
Jesus.
Woodturning. Evening, Donald.
I think Purple Heart does the same thing, doesn't it? It eventually goes a muddy brown colour.
Yeah, it does, eventually. Connie Schmidt says Chris bought my biography tool for Christmas, and she's gotten a bit addicted to that.
Royce Boy says he ordered a trend mask today.
Thanks, Jared. I'll have a look at that.
John Scarborough, I am jealous.
Ruby Clare just said good evening to everyone.
Good evening, Ruby.
Evening again, Ruby. Welcome along, my friend. John Scarborough says he has some lovely friends in Spain that save me lumps of olive for when we visit. Can we import olive wood into this country? Or is it on some
You
kind of...
can, but there's a
caveat,
a
isn't
big
it?
thing in Italy at the moment with a disease that's killing all the olive trees.
All right, okay. We'll not bother importing it.
And I think I'm not absolutely certain, but I heard somebody, I saw somebody post that it was getting more difficult to import it because of the diseased wood.
Somebody said the other day that you can only import olive wood that's been technically worked before it's imported. So if you have a friendly supplier who can run a piece of sandpaper over it, I suppose technically that's been worked.
Well, Yuval, you remember
Yeah.
Yuval Lahab?
Yeah, he's got sheds full of the stuff.
Well, he has, because they're chopping all the olive trees down because of the disease. So they're burning it on fires,
Criminal.
using it as firewood, which is sacrilege.
Let's get the sound. I got a little bit of tear out in this because we're using a scraper.
Nom de nom.
We'll sand it and see what happens.
Oh, question from Cornish Maid. I got Chris to turn me a bowl, she says. When would be the best to Yorkshire grit, before or after pyrography?
I would say before.
I would.
Because there's such a thin film of it left after you finish, the pyrography won't be affected by it.
You just burn through it. And if you've got pyrography in it, it might just gather up in the pyrography, just a bit like if you've got a groove or something.
It will. You'd have to brush it out.
You have to brush it out, it's right. John Scarborough says, it goes under the seats of my motorhome. I've not been for 2 years now, though. Damn.
Well, I'll try my best, let's keep you happy.
That's a nice looking bowl you're making, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, Richard Phelan says the same as here, the whole plantation is being cleared and burned. Whole plantations of what, Richard? Richard lives in Northern Ireland. It's my wood supplier.
Wayne the Bigfoot. Shall we hire a Luton van and go and fill it up, Wayne?
Ooh, sounds like a plan.
You fancy a road trip?
I have a friend that owns an olive wood processing plant in
Who's put
southern
that in?
Italy. He's got tons of it.
Wayne,
Oh.
Oh man.
Yep. Wayne
Bigfoot.
Bigfeet.
Evening, Wayne.
Hi, Wayne and Val.
Yeah, when did Wayne sneak in? Good evening, Wayne. And Val.
Richard Phelan's in.
Evening.
Said hello.
Adam,
Evening,
I love
Richard. Evening,
Woodturning's in.
Adam. Evening, Valerie.
Hi,
Evening,
Adam.
Wayne. Evening, everybody. Yeah, evening, everybody.
Everybody.
So that was 180. Last one. 240. All right.
Yeah. Paul Cavanagh says, oh, sorry, Steve. Paul Cavanagh says he needs to get up to Richard at some point soon. So do I. Oh, I've got a nice new car. I could fill the boot with wood. That would impress Michelle, wouldn't it?
Don't worry, everyone. Brian's singing for the inside.
What?
Yeah, don't you want me?
What? I'm not singing.
You are.
I don't do singing. No, I'm not.
Yes, you do. You've done it in the past.
I'm not singing.
Don't argue.
Sir Glyn. You're a Wally, Wayne.
Right. So
Good
let's
evening,
sand
Val.
and seal it. Always sand and seal. But
John, no, hold on before you
Yeah.
go further. John's
I'll send it to you then,
get
John.
another 15 mil out at the bottom of that, Steve. I know why Steve never gets a funnel
I'll have
anymore,
you
'cause
know.
he has inch and a half thick bases.
I'll have you know that bowl.
I'll
That
have
mine got
you
set.
know.
That
Go
bowl
on, then get
depth
the
is
calipers out.
37 mil,
Oh, lighter.
and the actual bottom to the bottom foot is 45, and there's a mortise in there, so I ain't going no deeper than that.
I don't think you've got 3 minutes of wood left, Steve.
Joe Senior says, Mark Beckett, sing more lively this time.
Yeah.
Well, like you do.
You know the rapid version.
Ah,
Oh, you want to see the face he just made, Joe? He's
That's a
definitely going
strange
to
way
look
to
after that.
commit suicide, Mark.
You tap.
He's shocking. I can't believe that.
Thanks,
So-
Andy. Andy
so-
says Brian must sing this time.
there's 2 coats of sand and sealer.
Oh dear, oh dear. Is that sanding sealer,
Cellulose
Steve?
sand and sealer. Thin
Cellulose?
60-40. Actually a bit gloopy. I reckon I want thin on a bit more.
I'll give you a shout, Richard. Won't be this weekend. Maybe next weekend we'll try and get up.
So
Good
Yorkshire
walk
Grit
in
Original
today.
to start with. Take extract off. Don't need that on now. So
Yeah. Andy wants me to sing because he needs some paint stripping, apparently.
Hang
Fred
on,
Gulliver has
Joe.
joined us. Good
I
evening, Fred.
dropped. I dropped off the top of the list. Pizza the top. I'm
No.
second. Thank you.
Sorry.
Hodgepodge
has asked Steve, what brand of sanding
Chestnut
sealer
products, sand and
are you
sealer,
using, and is it thin?
and it's been 60-40, 60% cellulose sand and sealer. Yeah,
Is Hodgepodge from the USA?
40%
Hodgepodge,
cellulose.
yeah.
Yes.
Right. Have you got a sanding sealer in the US called DEFT? DEFT. If you have, try that before grit.
If you don't use
If you
grit,
use
why not?
grit.
So Wayne the Bigfoot's just sent you a message, Glenn.
Right.
About olive wood.
Okay.
Just the glow.
He sent you a picture, apparently.
Yeah.
Question from Doug Miller. Steve, what do you
Which
think
one?
about the 1080p camera? Question mark.
The one was there's.
Don't know.
I've got 3
That's all
different
he
cameras
says.
on my
What do you think about your
description.
1080p camera?
The first 1088 one is they're, don't get me wrong, they're a good camera. You struggle to get good color. With a lot of playing around, you can get a happy medium, but you're always altering them because every piece of wood you need to alter the definition on the color is slightly different. Then you've got the 4K camera. Again, a good camera, but again, webcams are not designed for this sort of thing because they're obviously designed for conference calls. So the color ratio on them is not really designed for this sort of thing. The one I'm turning on now, I'll show you this is a webcam. See you later, Katie. Now this is a webcam. As you can see,
Katie's
it's very
having to
pale
go.
and
Bye,
pasty.
Katie.
Bye, Katie.
I've struggled a lot to even get it to look like what it's supposed to be on colouring. But if you spend a bit of money and get a camcorder, you can get a better picture quality and better colour. So 1080 cameras are great. The one I just showed you is a Logitech C920, I think. Good cameras. At the moment, I think they're about 80 quid each. They've gone up a little bit. Last ones I bought were 60 quid each, but I think they've gone up a little bit now. But again, a good camera. Best camera I've had. Best webcam I've had. Some of the cheaper ones are okay, but you don't get the color range on them is not as good as the Logitech. But obviously with a full HD camcorder, which is what you're now watching on, that has got one filter on it through OBS, and all I've used the filter for is to sharpen up a little bit. I haven't used it for any color alteration. The color is directly through the camcorder. Because as you guys perhaps know, when I first started lives, my hand used to be bright red due to the cameras. Because to get the bowl looking right, my hands look red. Yeah. But with the camcorders, you get rid of that.
Yeah, Michael McEwen says the focus on this camera is a bit off.
Yeah, I think the bowl needs to be centre frame.
Oof. Yeah. They sometimes have trouble picking up the focus.
It's on manual focus, so I set it to the front of the piece before I turned it. So let's just reset it.
Right. So once it stops, the focus is okay, I think, isn't it?
Wood Wizardry by Collins asking, what about GoPro style cameras? I find they're okay, but they do
degree lens and 120 degree angle
bit of a
lens.
fisheye perspective sometimes. Yeah, and then their color.
And I think for the price you pay for a good GoPro, you might as well buy a camcorder.
Nice one, Joe. Mark forgot to sing, so Joe's singing with the fingers.
It wasn't my turn to sing, it was Brian's.
Oh God. For hands that feel pretty can be soft, there's your face. With light brown, Yorkshire gritty.
Oh, come back, Joe. It's all
the pressure. I can't stand the pressure. Yeah. I use Yorkshire grit in most of my pieces unless I'm actually painting them with something.
So basically, you use Yorkshire grit unless you don't.
There you go. That's just with the mic. That's just true. The original. Shall we microfine it? What's the time? Yeah, let's microfine it.
So, yeah, microfine it. Yeah. So Doug Miller suggests that you should.
Yes, I do.
Doug Miller says. So you suggest camcorders. If you can afford,
don't go for a.
Yeah, go for it.
You need a camcorder with a HMDI output.
I think he has 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, and not like what Brian said, a clean one. That means a clean one means that you can remove the imaging of like the shutter speed, the focal length, and all this and the other off of it. Also needs to be manual and autofocus, and preferably if you can get one with a microphone in as well, that'd help you. If you haven't got but don't go for £100 camcorder. You need a good quality £200 or £300 camcorder. Because the cheaper camcorders, the output quality is only 720 and not full HD. Because you need a full HD HMDI output. Because
I
You
would
do.
suggest my best advice, Doug, if you're starting to think about doing lives or recording with webcams, go with webcams first, low budget, so they're about $25 a piece, and just set those up to try it first, because the
it's not just the
camcorders
camcorder. You've got caption
is
cards
a
in and
massive
all sorts.
investment. Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas
You
the
can't just plug
webcams
your
are plug and
camcorder in.
play, straight out the box, plug them in your computer,
Yep.
set it up on OBS, and off you go. It's an affordable. You can have 3 or 4 cameras for $70 or $80.
Yep.
And you've got enough angles, enough going then to set them up, get started, get running, see if you like it, and then over time build up and add camcorders to replace the webcams as you go.
My live streams are purely on Logitech C920s. That's all I use currently, and I have no plans to.
They're a good camera.
Buy anything else.
If I'd had the
in the near
C9,
future.
if I'd had the C920s before I bought all the other
Nothing wrong
camcorders,
with it.
before I bought all the other webcams, I wouldn't have changed. The only reason I use the camcorders is because I used to use the camcorders when I used to do videos. So rather than them sitting in the cupboard, I thought I'd make use of them.
How fast are you spinning
Let's have
that,
a look.
Steve?
3, about just under 1,000. Is that fast enough?
Okay. Well, with microphone, you can actually whip it up a bit, and it'll make it.
Oh right.
It'll
okay.
take the
All right, I'll take it a
oil
little
out
bit
of
more.
the wax. So the wax will set up.
So, so what's your recommendation then for speeds on the grits then, Glenn? Original.
Well, obviously, it depends on the diameter of the bowl. It's surface feet per minute, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
But on the bowl that Steve's doing there, I would start the original at 200 or 300 revs, if you can get down that low, and don't rush it. Just let it grind away and let it do the cutting. Because the enemy of sanding, either dry sandpaper or an abrasive wax, is speed and heat. It will make it less effective. So the longer you can run it at a lower revs, the better finish you're going to get. But once the grit's broken down, then you need to be whipping the revs up to a fair lick. So if it's like a 6-inch bowl like Steve's got there, by the time I'd finished and I was taking the residue off, I'd probably have it up at 15 or 1600 revs. But with very light pressure. So you don't
I've
create
noticed
the
if you
heat.
create heat too much on the Yorkshire grit, that start grabbing the tissue, don't it?
Yeah. Well, it's because you've got rid of the grit. What you're effectively doing is burnishing with a paper rag.
So Doug Miller says he's been using iPhones for videos. And he just wanted towards
Mixing
lives. Mixing lives? Producing lives. Probably once a week. Yeah.
Nice one.
Them
That'll be
webcams
good,
that
Doug.
are on my.
That'll be interesting to
You mean
watch.
them first ones I had? There's nothing wrong with them. It was just me fussy with the colour.
Yeah, so Roy the Boy's chipped in there and he says his lowest speed is 500. Well, if that's as slow as you can go, that will work. 500 will still work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put plenty on your cloth, Roy. Put a fair amount on. If you're starting at 500, give it a decent dollop on the tissue.
Good evening. How are you?
They're back in
Have him-
dipsticks in. Fire back in.
Hi, Barkin. Yeah, and as Glenn said, you've got to give it time to work. You see people using it on lives and they're doing it for maybe 3 minutes. You could maybe do it for a bit longer just feel it. Basically, you can actually feel the grit breaking down under your fingers.
Another tip as well is when it's coming to the end of its effectiveness, it will feel quite smooth under the tissue. But whilst you can still chase it across the wood, you know, like when you do any polishing, you always get a chase line.
Yep.
If you're doing that with Yorkshire grit and you can still see a chase line, then you're still cutting.
John Scarper's onto you.
He knows me so
He's a
well.
Yorkshireman, he ain't daft.
So, so Woodworking, by Colin says,
if you can do videos, you can do lives.
Well, basically,
Rubbish.
If you can set up a camera that's 18 inches away from the back of the lathe at an angle of 45 degrees, and then another one directly overhead the spindle, you can do lives.
What was the guy that used to do the YouTube videos in 8x6 shed?
Yeah, you don't need a lot of space.
Oh,
The
yeah, I
8x6
can't remember
shed.
his name.
That one you're on about.
And fantastic.
That's what the channel was called.
Yeah. And his videos were masterpieces. They were brilliant. Trying to think of
Wasn't
it.
Second Life of Wood, wasn't it?
No.
No.
Right. Third and final coat of Hampshire sheen.
Yeah, I've done the same thing, Doug. I've hardwired my computer into the hub in the house just to make sure I've got a steady connection, stable connection. That's the one from the stable studio.
When I first started doing lives, I tried to run on one of those Wi-Fi extenders from the house into the workshop. It just was unreliable. 1 minute it was up, and then it was down, and then it was breaking down. And
I did that too.
Stephen Watts. Yeah, I said it was the 8x6 shed. Yeah.
Stephen Watson.
Yeah, that was just so unreliable. So
Stephen
I
8x6. Yeah.
Bought a 50-foot cable and run it straight from the house into the workshop, and I've never looked back. That's been perfect ever since.
Dave Oatley says his shed's only 6 feet by 14 feet, and he said it would be hard to set up with cameras. Where do you live, Dave?
This camera you're watching on, this one here, is less than 4 foot away from the headstock of the.
Yep.
It's at the.
Well, I gotta say now, Dave Oatley, I've seen the pictures of your shed. You're 18 miles away from me. I will come over and set
help you sort it out. There you go.
Because you've got plenty of space.
I envy you a lot with big sheds.
Your shed would be big if you cleared it up.
Shut up. Shut up, Senior. Ooh, take that.
That's true too.
Yeah, it's because I keep buying scrap off fellow woodturners.
Say it isn't so.
I think them pieces you bought were really nice.
Jared, I don't really understand this question from Jared. He says, where are you using the electric wires in place for your extender? Oh, I know what you mean now. I think he means the ones you can put in, you plug it in your house.
Yeah, there was one plugged in next to the router,
to the next
and then because this is all on the same circuit, that should act as the electric cables act as the extender, don't they? But it was just so unreliable.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Fat Axe has just
How are
joined
you,
us.
mate?
Fat Axe.
Is he my twin brother?
Yeah, it's unreliable. At the end of the day, for the price of a cable, the actual cable I bought was actually cheaper than the Wi-Fi extender for 50-foot of cable.
Yep. I got one of those fancy disc things from BT. They have with a fancy hub thing, and it wasn't reliable enough. So I think I paid 25 quid for 50 meters of category 5 cable. External
Easy.
category 5. So
And the good thing is you can run
It's
more
not-
than one
it's not
cable through, so you've got
expensive.
more than one access point, because most hubs now got 5 plugs in the back. So,
it's true.
right, there we go. All done.
Yep.
Sanded up to
Well, this one has
240,
4, I think.
Yorkshire grit, original and microfine. Hampshire, 3 coats of Hampshire sheen, hot gloss wax. Yeah, I thought I'd do something rather than just standing there.
Have you turned the ball, Steve?
We hadn't turned the bolt, has he? Oh, look, we got 40
Yeah.
metres of cable.
You want
for under a
Cat
tenner.
5 or
There you
Cat
go.
6,
I
really.
mean, there's
Obviously, Cat
bargains out
6
there
is
if you
better
want
because
them,
you can
guys.
get, what is it, 560 megasecond
Yep.
down Cat 6. So, what's that?
Oh, I had no idea.
Steve, a little bird's just told me something. Apparently,
Is it 2 or
DJ
12?
Turning just needs 2 subs for 500.
Oh. Because he's not very good at telling
Have
us
a
the
look.
truth. That.
Oh, it could be anything.
Will I have a look? Will I have a look and just check?
I'll just go and unsub and then resub. Will that do it?
That'll do it. That'll fix it.
Right.
What do you mean unsub? You weren't subbed in the first place.
Days, I'm
Just
gonna
we
Why
get
has he
update.
got a YouTube
Focused
channel?
That's
Hello, what's going on?
DJ Turning.
Is a phrase that we use with our
Right. That was me, sorry. Here's the link for
Oh, you-
Terry from DJ
Okay,
Turning.
yeah.
If you're not subbed, the guy is a master with a skew.
Yeah.
He's a Burke, but he's a
He's
That's
got
about
you
unfair,
sorted,
Mark.
Terry.
That's a bit unfair, Mark.
he's a great guy. He is a really
He is
great
indeed a
turner.
great guy.
Loads of experience.
Other
40
people
odd
know him
years
as
he's
the
been doing
badge.
it.
Yeah, we don't
And
know
he's
what.
got
We
a
ain't sure
badge
of
that
what
says-
yet, but
He's approved at something.
Wayne
Yeah, I'm not sure what it
the Bigfoot. Glyn has visited my workshop and there wasn't much room for the two of us. Well, there were enough room for me. You just had to stand outside.
Yeah, that doesn't make it a small workshop, though.
right, where are we? There we go. Nice little bowl.
You are so dead, who's me?
It's a foot on it, yeah.
Very
That's
nice,
lovely,
Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a foot on it. Oh.
Oh, is there a foot
That,
on it?
that
You're not going to
awful
remove
Nope.
that mortise. You're
Nope.
not going to remove that mortise and finish the damn thing.
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
If
That's
you'd, have,
lacquer,
if
Glyn.
you'd have told me that were lacquered, Steve, I'd have believed you.
Richard Field says,
believe
I use my garage, but I find it hard to get to the lathe because the place is full of bloody wood. That's okay, Richard. I'll come up and remove you.
See, this is what you know. When people say
need to
that
bring a
they can't
trailer.
get a finish on a piece of wood, it's not. I always think it's the preparation. It's if you can get a nice smooth base,
It is.
then the rest is going to be good. You know what I mean? What we did was sand up to 240. Yorkshire gritted it. Admittedly, I did use a microfine, so that's up to 2000 grit. But I think the thing that helps it is more than one coat of Hampshire sheen. You know, well, there was a few little tear out marks in there.
And
But,
good tool control in the first place.
yeah, sand
Sand
and
and
seal.
seal, don't you mean?
Sanded them out. Sanding
Yeah,
sealed
and then I put two. Then I
Yorkshire gritted
put
it
2
twice.
coats of Hampshire sheen on the back to give
it.
the
Original
shine on the
microphone.
back, and then
Yeah.
too much.
The key with Hampshire
Exactly.
sheen, but is
See, I
not
think-
to use a lot of it. Just use a little bit.
I think
That's
I've put
If you
too
can
much
see-
on there because
if
it's
you can
still a
see it
bit
moving under your
smeary.
cloth, you
So it
use
just
too
wants a
much.
little bit.
Susie
Susie
Switz
Switz.
has asked a good question. How long will it stay this
Well,
course? Will you have to renew the wax after
I
a while?
found if I sand and seal it well
I never
before
have
I
on any of mine.
finish it, the gloss, the shine will stay. If you only put, I find if I put just one coat of sand and sealer on, it seems to after about 2 or 3 weeks, it seems to start going a little bit dull. Not a lot,
Yeah.
just a little bit. But that's why I always give it 2 coats of sand and sealer, because then the only reason that's going to go dull is if the wax is in soaking into the timber. So if the wax can't soak into the timber, then it's not going to go dull, is it? So it's all about preparation. It's like anything, isn't it? Any painting or any colouring you do, it's all about the base coat. It's all about the preparation you put into it before you, people criticise people taking time to sand, but spend a little bit of time sanding it, making it smooth, and then cutting it back properly. And like Glyn said, tool control was good as well. You know, obviously,
Yep.
we all have that off days. We all have days where we get a bit of tool marking and this, that, and the other, but it's all about the base.
It's all about the base. No treble.
Right, let's bring these guys back.
No doubt.
So
Yeah, we're still here.
Seriously, don't.
here they are. Here they are. Look, the three wise monkeys. I mean, Mark, Glyn, and Brian.
Cheers, Steve.
Oh, Brian's not on
No,
it.
Brian's
Brian's
not
not
on it.
playing.
Brian's not on it. So
Keep
nice
up.
little bowl.
Yeah.
It's not huge. Just have a measure up of it. Wasn't that?
What am I not on? What have I missed
You
now?
missed out. You missed out. You're too slow, Brian. So
Okay.
170 mil across
Oh, sorry.
And
by
again.
45 mil deep. It is.
Hey!
Hey, congratulations. Got there in the end, bless him.
I wasn't even watching. I'm reading the
So,
chat. I'm doing my
Are
job.
you still sure that's the wood it was, Mark?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it is Digbo.
No, I'm not so sure now. It's more red than it was
That's his camera, I
yellowy.
think.
Okay.
That is a bit redder on that camera. This in camera gives it the best look. That's the best colour of it.
John Scarborough says, thanks for another entertaining evening. Have you been watching something else, John?
Yeah.
What have you been watching? The Three Stooges. That's about.
Don't worry, I'm not on next week. You can all come back.
He's watching film on 4. Colin, Three Stooges. As if.
Right, Colin. That's you and me finished.
Yeah, that's not nice. Actually, Colin, no, you can't do lives in your shed.
No, you can't. Your shed's not big enough, Colin.
Right, so before we go, any questions for Glyn before we go anywhere?
Oh, no. No more questions.
I'm sure Joe's got one.
Ask more questions, guys.
Yeah, could you just exact quantities of the products that you use to make grid, please?
Yeah.
Certainly.
I am-
2.5 kilo of pixie dust, 3 litres of angel tears.
Is that fresh pixie dust or frozen?
No, you can have frozen.
Oh, okay.
Dear, oh dear. That's a,
Yeah.
that's a,
Frozen pixie dust. Mm.
I'm not telling you any more ingredients.
That's
You'll think
okay.
I'm kidding you.
oh, Joe's got a good.
Joe Senior wants to know when she gets a pay rise.
When you work hard. When you work hard, Joe.
If you come to work, I'll consider it.
If you come to work more than one day a week, you might get something.
There you go, Trevor Bartlett. Look, Glyn needs to earworm more often. There you go, Glyn.
Oh, no.
He can't hear Worm more often because how are we going to be able to hear him laughing raucously in the background?
Well, this is true.
That's true.
Yeah, sometimes it does burst forth.
Right, if nobody else has got
Yeah.
any questions, we'll knock it on the head then. So, all
All
right.
Boy,
So,
Oh, wait.
nice
Right.
little bowl.
You
Nice
right?
little bowl. But like I say, like I always say, it's all about the special guest there. So, massive thank you to Glyn for coming over and sharing your experience with us, mate. I really do appreciate it.
I've
Good,
enjoyed
I'm
it.
glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time I wanted to get on there for
Good.
over a year, so
I don't like rushing into things.
yeah, I've heard the
Steve.
rumours. Right.
there'll be no stopping him now.
Right, so
Yeah, I was going to say something there, but I bit my
yeah,
tongue.
bite your tongue. We're only just over the watershed. Right, so thank you to Glyn, thank you to Brian, thank you to Mark, thank you to each and every one of you guys coming over and joining us. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you, Glyn has asked or answered even a few of your questions. I'm sure if you've got any other questions, Glyn would quite happily accept to. If you message him, he soon will help you out with any queries you have. But other than that,
Yeah, absolutely. No
there you
problem.
go, perfect. So, like we always say with all these manufacturers, if you're not sure, there's someone in the community who is, so ask. You're only going to get the best out of the project or the product if you ask and know how to use it properly. Hopefully, with us guys doing the demos, it helps you along the way. Admittedly, we're all learning. There's still things that we pick up on. When somebody does something new with a certain product, it's always beneficial to all of us. So, with that, I'm going to say good night. I will see you over on Sunday. Mark's on Monday night, I believe.
Mark's Monday night. Terry's
Terry's
Monday,
Monday
lunchtime.
lunchtime. I'm on Monday night.
There you go.
I did know what I was doing, but I've changed my mind, so I don't know what I'm doing now.
He's going to make a
No, I'm not. No,
a dwabbit. He's going to make a dwabbit.
no, I'm not.
Swab
Put
it.
me off. My so-called friends
Do
put me
rabbit.
off doing a rabbit.
A rat duck.
Anyway, he'll be doing some. Mark will be doing something
Sorry.
on Monday night.
Something.
Me and Nick will be back Sunday lunchtime.
But sorry.
Wayne's on tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, I believe.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Saturday.
8 o'clock, and then he'll have a premiere on Sunday as well. So, if you don't see you before, guys. Have a great weekend. Speak to you soon.
I might have a premiere this week.
Mike's on Sunday, isn't he? I think he said Sunday,
Yep.
16th.
There isn't a link yet, but he might be.
Who's on the Sunday
I
16th?
thought Mike said he was back on Sunday the
No,
16th.
it's next Sunday. I think.
No, he's not. No, he's
Oh,
not.
okay. No, forget that then. So anyway,
He's one-eyed Mike is not quite right
One-eyed
for
Mike.
for-
one-eyed Mike, one-eyed Mike. Yeah.
One-eyed Mike and his pitiful pirates.
he'd love you for that. So anyway, guys.
Well, that's what it's called, one-eyed Mike.
Oh dear, you guys crack me up. Anyway, we're going now. So it's good night from me. It's good night from Mark,
Arr.
Brian,
Good night, guys.
and good night from Glyn. Thank you, Glyn, for coming over, mate.
Well done,
You're
Glyn.
welcome.
Right, guys. Have a great
Bye.
weekend. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
We're gone. We're going. Bye.
Cheers.
Oh dear, oh dear.